Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Coming up, Dominica's ambassador to the OECS voices economic union concerns. High technology cameras to be installed in Roseau this carnival, and we'll bring you a report on the world of Dominica's costume builders.
Black Sikatuka is a dangerous fungal disease that affects the leaves of banana and plantains. The disease prevents the plant from producing healthy bunches. It is spread by wind, water, and people. Please do not remove banana and plantain trash from infected fields. Stop the spread of Black Sikatuka today. For further information, please contact your Extension Officer or the Division of Agriculture.
Thanks for staying with us. Dominica's ambassador to CARICOM and the OECS, His Excellency Felix Gregoire, is concerned that while Dominica has taken all legal and administrative measures with respect to the OECS Economic Union, some countries within the OECS region still have not done so. The OECS ambassador says the non-action by some member states is causing unnecessary problems for the regional integration process.
The Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit has been on a campaign to educate Dominicans with respect to their obligations, their privileges with respect to the OECS Economic Union. And we would want our citizens to benefit from those arrangements. And to date, 3 countries have not conformed to the requirements of the revised Treaty of Bastille.
The arrangements agreed by member states to give effect to the revised Treaty of Bastille are for persons to enter the participating member states without hindrance and remain for an indefinite period in order to work, establish businesses, provide services, or to reside. Ambassador Gregoire adds that in the case of OECS nationals being granted indefinite stay in another member territory, some OECS countries have not passed the necessary legislation.
Antigua and Barbuda and St. Lucia have not passed the legislation for that to happen. So people will get other periods like 6 months instead of the indefinite stay.
Ambassador Gregoire noted further that Dominican nationals seeking to work in countries such as Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada and St. Lucia still require work permits.
And a very important provision has to do with the work permit, where in the OECS countries, you do not need a work permit if you go to work in those countries. And to date, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada and St. Lucia have not passed the legislation to make that happen. So while persons can come here into Dominica to work without a work permit, then in those 3 countries, so if our nationals go to those 3 countries, then they have to get a work permit. And we're aware that there are a number of Dominicans in Antigua, for example, and that is causing a serious problem for our nationals in Antigua.
January 2014 marked 3 years since the independent member countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States commenced operation of the OECS Economic Union, a new development designed to enhance the way of life for people of the region in the long term. The commencement of the OECS Economic Union followed the historic June 18, 2010 signing of the revised Treaty of Bastille. The treaty, which entered into force on January 21, 2011, creates a single economic and financial space covering participating OECS member states and sets the stage for deeper OECS integration. Their work will soon be displayed in the Miss Dominica 2014 pageant. Kimani Seja brings you a report on the world of Dominica's carnival costume builders.
It's one of the key elements that for many is the deciding factor for the next Miss Dominica. It's the majestic carnival costume, usually depicting a world of fantasy created in the minds of a few of Dominica's most talented artists. GIS took time to look into the world of Dominica's costume builders. Their work will soon be displayed on stage at the Miss Dominica 2014 pageant and again at the Parade of Costumes on Carnival Tuesday. One of these artists is Danley Guy.
I've been building costumes for the last 42 years. I started when I was in my young age teens, you know, and I really started because of a friend, Albert Theodore. He introduced me to it and I get to love it and I just continue from there.
Guy is mostly self-taught and over the years have been able to glean from other local costume builders as well as builders in the Caribbean region. His love and passion for the art is quite obvious.
The feeling, you can't explain that feeling, is a feeling of freedom. Being free to do whatever you feel that's right. You know, it putting you in a world of your own. You know, you create things that is only in your mind and you expect people to see through you what you do.
Costume building is hard work, and although Guy is committed to passing on the skill, he says one has to be devoted to the craft to keep doing it.
In the years I've been in it, I've taught, if I don't want to say hundreds, you know, I've taught many people to do it. You know, but because of the way it is, it's something you have to do because you love it. There's no incentives to say, have an incentive, something you can put forward and say, I got that through that. It's something you do because you love it. You know, you just want to show your art and because you love Carnival, you love your country.
Costume building is also a costly exercise with no financial rewards. The artist relies on the appreciation of his work for gratification, and even that, Guy says, is not always forthcoming.
There are people that love your work and they give you encouragement and so on. And there are some people that will just stand there and criticize that then, you know, that kind of attitude, and they don't realize how much of your life that went into that. You have to have good family because some wives won't let you leave their home for 48 hours not seeing you, you know. So it's something people have to get into so that they can appreciate it.
However, this artist has love for all his creations. He says he puts the same effort in every costume he builds or designs. The process is costly and extremely demanding, but after 42 years of perfecting the skill and making the sacrifice to meet the demands of the art, Guy says he will be building costumes for a few more years to come.
Danley Guy wants to build costume, but Danley Guy is getting tired and he wants to leave. But because there's nobody else really ready to take the role, my workers are ready to take the role, but I still have to be there, you know. You have to be ready to take the role. You have to be committed. You can't take it this year and leave it next year. You have to be committed over the next, say, 10 years to take that challenge.
Kimani Serjan for GIS News.
Thank you, Kimani, for that report. In more news, activities are in high gear leading up to the climax of Dominica's Real Mass 2014 celebrations. On Wednesday, a number of stakeholders involved in the celebrations met to brief members of the media on preparations for various carnival-related events. Events Director at the Dominica Festivals Committee, Natalie Clark, is excited about the amount of work done thus far. She anticipates this year's Carnival celebrations to be truly spontaneous.
All the revelers, I'm sure all the last sequins, the last feathers, the last pieces, you know, glue guns going, wire bending happening, it's all happening now because come Juve at 4 o'clock on Monday, and come Youth Parade, thanks to National Bank of Dominica after that, and in the afternoon, PAN, giving us an interlude with partnership from First Caribbean International Bank, and T-shirt mass following that. It's going to be really a party on the streets of Roseau. Bring your friends, neighbors next door. We're just next door. We're ready for you. We're expecting you so that we can say hi and have a spontaneous mass, a great mass, a party mass right here in the Commonwealth of Dominica.
On Wednesday, headline sponsor to the 2014 Real Mass celebrations, Lime Dominica, presented a check of $150,000 towards this year's Carnival celebrations. General Manager of Lime Dominica, Jeffrey Baptiste, views his company's involvement in Carnival as tangible evidence of giving back to Dominica.
Lime continues to nourish, I guess, Carnival and our cultural activities in Dominica. I always make the point, though, so while we continue to have that willingness to do it, we can only continue to do it as potently as we have done in the past if we continue to have the support of our population and our people. We certainly want to continue to be a very prominent player, not just standing by, but be a very active participant towards the development of our country. We are fully plugged into the development agenda for our government and our people, but we can only continue to do it if we continue to have the support of the patrons. And when people make their telecommunications decisions, they make it towards Lime, because we have consistently demonstrated an unwavering commitment to give back a significant portion of our resources to our people, our communities, and our country.
And the National Queen Show Committee is promising to give patrons a show of a lifetime. The highly anticipated show is scheduled to take place on Friday, February 28th at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium.
7 of the island's most beautiful and talented young women have been working extremely hard preparing to give patrons a show of a lifetime. The Miss Dominica pageant promises to be an exciting and enticing show. The ladies are excited and ready to give the Dominican public a Miss Dominica pageant of class, elegance, and poise.
The contestants are expected to perform in 5 segments, namely costume, talent, swimwear, evening gown, and question and answer. Each segment will be judged on the contestants' ability to relate spontaneously, along with articulation, projection, poise, carriage, fitness, personal appearance, and attitude. The 7 ladies competing in this year's Miss Dominica pageant are Joelle Brown of Point Michelle, Shalina Samuel of Stock Farm, Octavia Prosper of La Plaine Dalius, Royette Laura of Portsmouth, Donella Revere of Roseau, Francine Barron of Grand Bay, and Torrance Dorset of Marigot. The show is set to commence at 8 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium this Friday. In more Carnival-related news, the Dominica Police Force is this year partnering with Platinum Security and other private sector entities in bringing about greater security on the streets of the capital during this Carnival season. This year, 12 high-technology cameras will be installed in strategic locations along the streets of the Carnival route.
The cameras that we're putting, and I mentioned that they have high technology, they consist of light finder technology, which is if we are in a dark area, it picks up light from anywhere, be a flashlight or a street lower down, and it enhances the imagery of the streets. We know that around the city, we don't have the best lighting. And we have the regular old bulbs that show yellow lighting, they're not LED. So the cameras will enhance the imagery of the city. They also day and night capabilities, meaning that during the day we have crystal clear pictures in zero lux capabilities in the environment where there's no lighting, it turns to black and white, so it allows us to see the imageries.
The cameras, when installed, will be in the control of the Police Department Command Center.
We want the public to rest assured that it is not in the hands of any private citizen. It is in the hands of the Dominica Police Force, and they will be putting together the very up-to-date, state-to-art command center. This will allow the police force, and I'm sure my friends at the head table will speak more about this. They would allow the police force to detail, detach, and dispatch their groups on the ground to any problematic areas. The police cannot be everywhere at one time, but our eyes can. The cameras will be able to look at multiple locations, and the people who are manning the command center, the police department, will be able to dispatch their groups to these locations that they deem to be threatening to the general public.
In years gone by, security cameras were installed on music trucks during the street parade of Monday and Tuesday. This year's step up to install security cameras on business properties within the city of Roseau is designed to have increased surveillance of the streets, which will capture any negative incidents.
Now, I want to emphasize that the cameras don't shut down at 10 o'clock. The police will have full view 24 hours a day, starting from this week right onto next week. So for persons who are breaking the law and like to break no entries after 10 o'clock, the cameras will capture your license plates and the police will take the necessary action necessary.
Lime Dominica will provide internet to enable the cameras to be linked to the police command center.
Agriculture is the science, art, or occupation concerned with cultivating land, raising crops, and feeding, breeding, and raising livestock. In Dominica, it continues to play a major role in the country's economic development. Farmers beat the challenging paths every day and explore new heights in their pursuits of providing food security for the Dominican population and beyond.
Agriculture has always been a priority for Dominica.
Gilles Carbon John Baptist has been involved in farming for more than 20 years and is a firm believer in diversification.
Everything that can be grown in Dominica, I find myself growing it. And recently I have find myself in a Northeast women group and I've extended into onions.
She admits it's hard work, but she is able to successfully manage her farm with technical support from the agricultural extension officers.
I'm one of the blessed farmers who have a very, very good relationship with my extension, the North region or the North and West region, wherever they come from and they are here, we have a very good relationship, and any problem I see, any problem I have, they are always ready and willing to come to assist. I can't complain.
Marcelinus Carbon farms in an area called Brandy. He has over 3 acres of land dedicated to yam cultivation. For him, agriculture is a way of life.
That I am doing to feed my whole house, to pay my loan, to pay all my bills.
He is one of several farmers who have positive accolades for the extension officers.
My field officer, she's doing a wonderful job. Wonderful, wonderful job. I don't think I can get another one like she. Oh no, she's really working. That is work. That is what you're talking about, value for your money. Because she's working for her money. Oh yes. For you to be able to come up here as a woman, it's nothing easy.
His financial returns vary from week to week, but he insists that it is a profitable venture.
Well, weekly a little 6, sometimes 8, sometimes 8,000. You know, it's according to the amount they want.
The demand for greenhouse technology, particularly among vegetable farmers, continues to increase as they recognize its advantages. Farmers like Rosie Bazil.
We always having for the market, always having good type of vegetables for the market since we have our greenhouse.
Simeon George from Penville has been actively involved in farming for over 30 years.
What are the crops that you grow now as we speak?
Well, is dashing, plantain, yam, and vegetables.
He continues to reap major returns from his farming career.
My market, I haven't got a problem with my market. I ship in some in St. Martin for a supermarket. My dashing, they're not selling down neither. Okay. Everything's selling all right.
To ensure the survival of the island's agricultural sector, it is important that children are introduced to the sector at an early age. Marsha Remy, a grade 3 and 4 teacher and local 4-H leader at the Vickers Primary School, says this idea is bearing fruit at the school.
We have tomatoes, lettuce, cabbage, and so on. Mostly vegetable crops here in this garden. At the back you'd find things more like plantains and so on.
Remy is very encouraged by the attitude of the students towards agriculture.
In terms of our other programs, they would be a little bit hesitant to engage in it. But as soon as I say it's Wednesday and it's 4-H Garden Day, everybody's outside, or they want to have a session with Mr. Roye on crop growing, crop management and so on. They are very excited to change their clothes and get their hands into the garden.
Akeem Frederick has been involved in rabbit rearing for the past 8 months. His last count, 110.
I can't complain about sales, not really. Never have enough.
There are others, like Joseph Thomas, who sells 4 to 6 bags of passion fruit every week. These stories of success on the island's farms bring to the fore the reality that agriculture continues to thrive on the Nation Island. For National Focus, I am Mervyn Murphy reporting.
And that's the English segment of National Focus. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, police Dominica qui a ces monde qui ni voici bagay qui a participé en masse Dominique. Certains weg y aussi supposé suivre. Parole c'est la qu'a sorti hors superintendent police David Andrew.
Là où qu'a servi voiture fait sema qui voiture ni toute licence li, toute insurance li, toute bagay en ordre. C'est ça nous camade yo pour faire sema qui yo suivre direction nous kabayo avia nous kabayo pour faire sema voiture pas trop haut parce que trop haut nous ka ni accident nous ka di il pas ni pour pli qui 14 pieds hauteur à la terre jusqu'à pli haut nous ka di aussi pour mettre bagay en ordre wede nous pour garder ça qui a fait à ban là les unions trois cas stop musique là servi clétéo yo ka servi pour aider nous pour garder ça qui a fait pour nous arrêter moun pour mettre bagay en ordre les ini dégagement ini trois cas qu'a fait à ban là so c'est moun lauréat assez truck là yo ni en responsabilité pour travailler puis police là pour aider nous mettre bagay en ordre
en même temps aussi Mezi mettez en place pour moun qui ne vieille idée pour faire des affaires crime. Parole ça là aussi qu'a sorti hord inspecteur M. Claude Wex.
Pas servi coûte là fusil et c'est bien ça bouteille wash morceau boîte à les moun tout c'est bien ça c'est loi qui mène l'office police qui mène l'office nous n'avons pas un Carnival Order, c'est ministère National Security. Et puis, il a dit, c'est bien qu'on fusil, coûte la bouteille, wash, tout c'est bien ça, I speak, et nail file, et pas ça, nous avons vu ces jeunes boucles là, nous avons bas ces femmes là, pour cheber ces qualités outils ça. Et c'est vite ça tue moun, ça blesse moun ou pas ça rentrer à ban là. Pas même à ban là, ça pièce calypso show, pièce qualité vite ça ou pani pour rentrer à ces places ça. Si c'est ça police qui a arrêté ou police qui arrête ou mené à Calabous là et puis Calabous là c'est à jeudi ou kay l'office. Nous ka mettre ça douette.
En la nouvelle Dominique Katchen rangement et puis pays Chili en divers aspects. Parole celle-là sorti du ministre de l'État, ministre étranger, honorable sénateur Alvin Bernard, co-ambassadeur pays là pour Dominique His Excellency Eduardo Bonilla, t'es un pays pour faire donation assister pays si l'on mauvais désastre l'année passée.
Nous avons parlé de Chili dans au travail. Aujourd'hui, ministre Foreign Affairs qui parlait avec l'ambassadeur Accord en engagement pour mettre en agreement pour visa free pour mon officiel et diplomate pour voyager à Chili avec officiel Chili voyager Dominique. Mais engagement ça qui aide nous autant.
En la nouvelle, projet géothermique que le gouvernement a bâti en Rose Valley qui marche bien. Parole celle-là sortie du Parlement, honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre.
Bon, bien sérieux, nous continuons avec geothermal hot Rose Valley, and of course, on toujours dit ça, nous concernons tout le monde, tout ces villages hot Rose Valley, Loda, Wattenhaven, Trafalgar, comme si ils toujours été concernés, nous l'avons ça. Mais bite ça nous avons fait la geothermal, ça nous avons exploré là, et ça nous avons produit. C'est obité pour ce nous avons fait by prier hot electricity descend because it is share.
Finalement, il Banque Dominique tient un forum qui met attention à ces opportunités ou fait Dominique en diaspora, ça c'est le monde qui vit dans l'autre pays. Forum ça là qui prend place en hôtel Fortune en Rose vendredi, qui met attention à ces investissements qui sont possibles si la police et le gouvernement. Premier Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, et Ministre Employment Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, qui a adressé le forum là. Banque là qui a fait parole qui est bien positionné pour manager ces investissements salam, comme ça, moun supposé prendre l'avantage parce qu'il y a fait et c'est pour ces moun salam. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour Nouvelle Créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Learn how to stay motivated next in your tip of the day.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Personal motivation is key to maintaining almost all aspects of life. If we're not motivated, we're more likely to squander our time and neglect our personal and professional goals. The key to personal motivation, however, is to keep your spirits high. Remind yourself of your goals and always keep track of your progress. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of our news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thank you for watching.